I'm going to go into my workshop format that's typical for these workshops. I think a lot of you know how this works. I think that, did you explain this to them earlier? Okay, you already know how it works. I'm going to be selecting the person who lights up. Oh, that's perfect. I didn't plan that, y'all, but it's nice. Okay. So I'm going to be selecting the person who lights up, meaning that the collective has chosen them because their question somehow matches the collective asking. This is an evolutionary journey that we're going to be taking today. This is like an exercise in expansion. So whoever sits up here, they absolutely have a question that does apply to you. So, like I say at most of my workshops, I'm going to reiterate it again. Your job in this audience is to figure out how what I'm saying to this person applies to your life specifically. Sound good? Okay, who has the first question? Third row, superstar shirt. You're going to have to pull that really close.
I think so too.
Where did I put that Miriam? Oh. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to piggyback off of what we were just talking about.
Okay.
I just quit my job last week.
Oh.
I just felt like I was spending 40 hours a week doing something that was just so repetitive that I didn't feel like I was adding much value to the world by doing. And I just felt so resistant being there that I felt like I'd rather die than work another day doing this. And I had no idea, like, I had no plan. And I think that's okay. But I just feel so terrified of just letting everyone else that I know that's close to me know what I'm doing because I'm kind of holding it in right now. And only a few people know what I've done. And I'm just like terrified to kind of break the news and be like, guess what I'm doing? And have like all this fear and worry and concern projected on me based on the decision that I've made. And that just kind of, I felt so solid in making the decision of leaving. And then afterwards, I'm like actually sitting with it, having this time to myself to like actually see what I did. It's like causing me to almost feel those exact same things that I'm worried about being projected onto.
Yep. Isn't that the joke, though? It's like you make a decision that requires risk, and it feels so great for 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds.
Well, first, we can all get super conscious. This is what happens with I'm going to play your family, okay? This is what happens with your family, for example, when you make a choice like that. Instantly, in my head, I am imagining you struggling on the streets. And then I'm also imagining how, oh God, what I have to say to my friends is that my son has no job. Oh God, what if he comes to me for money? I certainly don't have enough. So, do you see, it had nothing to do with you, really. It had to do with the fact that I don't want to feel bad, and that's how it feels when I'm starting to see you suffer. I don't want to feel embarrassed, which is how it feels when I have to tell my friends, fill in the blank, and I don't want someone coming to me for money because I have not enough abundance. So, first thing you have to realize is it's not about you. I mean, do you get that from what I just said?
I do.
So what does that do for you, knowing that it's not about you?
Kind of relieve some pressure.
How?
It's still my decision, and I'm going to find a way to do it. Because in doing so, it almost felt like a purpose dropped into my lap, where I want to show people that you don't have to be stuck, and anyone can do it, not just me. And I just feel like...
That was fast.
Yeah. I don't know, it just feels like this horrible dread in the fact of like letting everyone know, but I know that letting everyone know is what I'm meant to do with this in the first place.
Why?
Because I want to show people that I'm not the only one that can break free.
Good. So this is important here. So we have this idea that we have to keep everyone around us feeling good. Now, all of us want that to some degree. Let's just admit it. Like me too. I actually hate it when I have to confront people up here and make them feel crappier. I hate that. I would rather just everyone love me and to be everyone's best friend. But it's not the way that we're meant to live here. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your family is to mess them up. And just so you know, like the Triber group, a lot of people who find their way to these workshops, yeah, you're that person in the family. Where the universe was like, oh, I know how to mess up this one.
Well, it's good to know that that's even an option, because I didn't even consider that.
I want you to mess them up, because here's the thing. You breaking out of the system, you are invalidating every choice they've made. Do you know what you're asking them? Now, this is a good thing for you guys to ask yourself. Do you understand what you are asking people to do when you break out of the mold and you prove them wrong? It's horrible. Like, you're looking at a person, let's say you got a dad who's like 50, he's made all the right choices according to society, he's done exactly what's expected of him. What if you knew that, like, he gave up a football scholarship, and that's really what he loves doing? In that moment, you were literally saying, you fucked up. All those years ago, you ruined everything.
Didn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Your life was a lie.
Exactly. So, like, obviously, it takes a very strong person to be able to deal with that message. But what's more likely is in that moment, they're going to be like, no, you're messing up right now. In fact, I need you to mess up. In fact, I've now got skin in the game. You better mess up, because if you don't...
They're not going to get their proof for how they're living their life.
Yeah. So that's the first place for you to go, is to a space of a little bit of empathy for just what you are requiring people to do by virtue of your invalidation.
Isn't that a tall order?
Well, you don't have to go there all at once. All I want you to do is to remember a time in your life when your entire reality was invalidated. Did it feel good or horrible?
Horrible.
Yeah. That's all you need. Okay, that's going to feel horrible. And I don't expect them to feel great about it overnight. I expect them to go through a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about you.
And it's okay for that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why? Why is it, I want you to think,
Okay.
why is it okay for that to happen?
It causes change. It's a ripple effect.
You might save their lives, do you know that?
Yeah. Possibility.
My practice is littered with people who at 50, 60, 70 are diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much would change if they stopped doing those things? Stopped making those changes?
There'd be no more chemo.
So what if you're the ingredient for them not to develop cancer?
That feels wonderful.
For those of you who don't understand how I got to that, this is how it goes. Cancer is about unresolved childhood wounds. It's basically, I'm going to stuff it, bury it, reject it, deny it, disown it. I'm not going to pay attention to what makes me feel good in life. And so you have a person who, say, really has to do things. So why people get better from cancer is because they literally quit their life. Like, they stop it, and they go entirely in the opposite direction of what feels good right now in this moment. It's the people who usually get a death sentence and who use that death sentence to really start living that actually recover. So if you give them that message before that point, if you're the person who comes in and says, you know what, it doesn't have to be that way and I'm going to prove it, you send them into an existential crisis, maybe they make a different decision. Maybe they don't line up with that. I mean, this is an interesting thing for us to think about, because a lot of us, you're in my camp. We hate hurting people. But what if, by putting them into that discomfort, it actually changes the rest of their life? And you might find this, where you do that and somebody hates you and they're like, I don't want to talk to you. 5 years later, they come back and they say, yeah, that sucked. I'm super freaking glad that happened. I'm never going to thank you while they're in the middle of it.
Or the beginning, which is going to be the hard part. But
Yeah. So, now that we have taken care of that part of it, let's do your part of it.
Okay.
What are you scared of?
Failure? Taking this big risk and having it blow up in my face?
Okay, what would blow up in your face look like?
Basically running out of money before I can manifest it. And just having like literally no other option but to like have to go back somewhere where I really wouldn't want to go back to.
You will always have another option. I want you to develop some freedom here, because when you use the word I have no other option, you do have a lot of other options. That may be the one you choose. But that freedom of choice is important to understand.
Right.
If you ran out of money, would you ever end up on the street, or do you think you have enough friends that you wouldn't actually end up on the street?
feel like I would know enough people.
Me too. So like you can't really say that I'll end up on the street.
Okay.
But your mind is trying to go
It's
there.
trying to go there anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a choice to end up living off of other people. It may frustrate them, but that's their boundaries.
Right.
Right? That's their boundaries. That's for other people to say, no, I don't really want you staying here. And you may challenge other people's boundaries. But you still, what I'm getting at is you still get to make the choice to live on people's couches versus go back to work.
That's true.
So how does that make you feel?
A little bit better.
So what are you scared about in terms of living on the couch? I'm taking him to the worst case scenario, by the way, because this is what we need sometimes. When we've got that worrying aspect, we need to go to the worst case scenario and actually make that okay. So it's not continuing to win the fight, it's scaring us.
What would be so bad about staying with friends on a couch?
Mm-hmm.
I guess just feel like I should have had more than that. Like that shouldn't have come to that in a way.
Why?
I feel like because I have so much knowledge about abundance and like different techniques on how to obtain it that I'm not using, I'm just knowing that I should have.
Why aren't you using them?
I don't know. I feel like I have all the tools that I need to have everything that I can possibly wish for, but yet I felt that I always have the motivation to do it.
That smacks of shadow. Oh, I love it. Okay, so play a game with me.
Let's do it.
If you really committed to all of the practices and tools you have, what would be so bad about that?
Oh, yes. God, I don't know. I've come to that question myself, and I've had a hard time trying to find an answer to it.
Well, then, let me think about it. You have to do those things.
God, what a change that'll be. Might be a little bit of the catch-up effect stuff.
That's a cop-out.
Yeah?
No, I want to get really honest. Like, close your eyes and think about it. If you're that disciplined, like you use every tool in the toolbox, why is that so bad?
I really have no idea.
Do you feel the avoidance that you have right now?
Absolutely.
Go into it. You know how to do that.
I do.
So go into it.
Okay.
I love when I'm working with someone seasoned. It's so fun.
It'll make me feel something. And I'm like one of the biggest bypassers known to man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so good at detecting them before they can even get here
Yeah.
that I find ways to distract myself so that I can't even.
Do you know what you're bypassing right now?
What am I bypassing?
Do you know what you're bypassing right now?
No.
You don't actually think you create your own reality. What you're the most scared of is having it to be proven that that is not the case. So you're not even trying out the tools and techniques on the off chance that they actually don't work.
That makes a lot of sense.
So you are resisting a paradigm shift the same way that the people in your life are. Because right now, their belief right now is, and it's a shaky belief, making all these smart decisions and making all the right choices according to society's standards keeps me safe. And that's the right thing. And in the back of everyone's mind, by the way, who's doing that game, is a little bit of doubt. You've got that same doubt. But your belief right now is, I create my own reality.
It's true.
So either it's true or it's false.
I know it's absolutely true. I've had
No,
it
you don't.
manifest in so many things.
You
in
don't
my
believe
life.
it.
Not fully yet.
No, because that's what you're trying to avoid.
Okay.
Like, you are not applying it right now specifically because of what it would mean if you did those things and it didn't work.
That's it?
Yes, you would rather hold on to the I could have.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this is a awesome pattern that you've got going right now relative to this, because I actually see this pattern more in sports. This is a very typical athlete pattern. It's okay. I'm not gonna do the things that I know that I need to do in order to succeed, on the off chance that I actually do those things and prove to myself that I couldn't have done it anyway.
That's a heavy one.
Oh yeah, it's way better to say should have, could have. You will find a lot of athletes that will do that. They'll say, you know what, if it wasn't for this, I could have. That's how they maintain self-worth. So they never actually take the risk that the gold medalist does. So like you're in a moment of truth right now. Either you find out the law of attraction is real, either you find out that you create your own reality, or you find out it's all BS. Look at the terror, do you feel that?
Oh my. Yeah, it's coming up, which is good. It needs to be acknowledged.
So what's it going to take for you to be willing to take the risk?
Doing it.
But you're not doing it.
I know. I don't know. This is where I have trouble.
Are you willing to take a risk to find out that it's all BS? Every word that I've said.
Of course I am.
You're bypassing right now.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the aspect of you that's not willing to make that choice.
Okay.
I'd rather address that aspect of you. You're not going to lose my favor. My gosh, come on.
I mean, obviously that would be absolutely like crushing if it weren't true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I learning all of this then when I can be doing other things?
Yeah,
But
exactly. This is the side of you that's really operating. This is the side of you that has control of you.
yes.
So this is the one that needs your presence.
Okay.
So like, you're a perfect example. I want you to see, because this is a perfect reflection of you guys in your life, where there's an aspect of you that's basically saying all the things that you think are good. So you're the side that's trying to drag this aspect of you. The you that you present to the world is dragging this aspect of you along, saying, no, we're going to do this. I don't care whether you like it or not. We're quitting our job.
Right.
So this is the aspect of you that actually needs your conscious presence. So instead of letting the higher self, the one that's like, I can do this, I'm here to make a difference, like I'm going to make different choices in my life, instead of that aspect of you sort of dragging the other aspect of you and saying, no, you know what, shh, get in the back and I'll drive. We want to develop the capacity for that aspect of us to come back towards the self that's not on board and to cradle that aspect. That's how you move forward in huge life changes in a way that's not self-abusive. Yeah. But to do that, you can't bypass it.
Right.
This is the number one danger of bypassing is right there. No, I know it 100%. Law of attraction is real. Which aspect of you did you just step on? I'd rather the aspect of you that's convinced that it's real go back to the aspect of you that's not convinced that it's real and to actually help out. Yeah?
That feels really good.
Well, let's help out your aspect.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah. You do like to go fast, don't you? I just think it's funny because like that aspect of you doesn't usually get a lot of airtime, and now you're like in front of a whole audience giving it airtime, so it's cute. So keep talking. It'll be terrifying because of the fact that I've wasted so much time on these, and I've made such a fool of myself, honestly, because I've been telling everyone else about it.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it's something that's so beautiful, that's life-changing, that you want to share with everybody, but
what does life look like if it's not true? What does life look like if?
Annoying and miserable. I don't want to have to work hard doing things I don't want to do from somebody I don't want to work for. I want to do things that I want to do and just have abundance just coming to me doing whatever it is that I feel like that feels good.
So do you see, so this, if you're going to embody that aspect of you that's sort of dragging on the floor behind the aspect of you that wants this change, right? Does it feel better to you to always be able to say potentially yes than to try that and actually find out that it's false?
Yes.
So the first thing you get to do is to be present to that panic. This is self-validation. It's right to feel that scared.
Good.
See, there's nothing wrong with feeling that way either. That's another message that this aspect of you needs.
Attention.
Because like usually you'll come to a spiritual seminar and somebody who teaches law of attraction will look at you and say, well, if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen. I've just caused you to step on this aspect of you. I've made it not okay.
Right.
But it's okay.
Yay.
Yeah, it's okay to feel terrified. This goes for the whole entire audience. It's okay to feel terrified that law of attraction is not a reality. It's okay to feel terrified that, oh my God, maybe we don't create our own reality. Maybe I did have to get into a 9-to-5 job and that was smarter. Maybe I'm making all the wrong decisions. Like, it's okay to feel that way. We have to be able to actually make some space for that aspect of us.
Yeah. It's already shifting just by acknowledging that it exists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what awareness does, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Awareness is the first agent for change. Because it kind of catalyzes things. It sets the change into motion.
And you don't feel so powerless.
Yeah. So, talking to this aspect of you. Knowing that it's okay to feel the way you feel and to be terrified that you're all wrong. What if we love you still if you're wrong?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. You wouldn't be so scared of making mistakes if you didn't get the message somewhere along the line that to make a mistake means you lose love.
That's so true. That feels really good.
Okay, so let this aspect of you come up into your body and I want you to do something with me. You ready? If you take that risk and it turns into a belly flop, right? Look at the audience. We're all in the same boat. We're all wrong. Every one of us, including me, especially me. So we're all going to be feeling crappy together.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll still love every one of you just the same.
Yeah,
So why couldn't I get the same love back?
exactly. So does it feel as risky to just try for fun?
No. Let's do it.
Okay, so then thinking about being disciplined, about focusing. Does it feel as bad?
To feel like you have to be disciplined?
No, like you having all the tools that you know
Yeah.
to create abundance and to make change. Like, does it feel as scary to just go do it?
Not so much after realizing that everyone else is in the same boat as me. That's a good feeling. That feels super comforting. And it makes me feel more inspired to do it.
Good. Ride the wave of inspiration.
Yes.
And if you're in his boat, before you go to do that thing, so like if you decide it's visualization or whatever you decide the tool is that you want to use, when you go to do it, you feel that resistance, know that this aspect of you needs your conscious attention.
That's so good, 'cause
you
I've
don't
gotten
have to
caught.
pull. Yeah, stop pulling against yourself. Like, I don't want you to force yourself to go do that. That's, by the way, self-discipline is one thing. Self-abuse is another thing, and we love to say they're the same.
They like to hold hands.
They really don't like to hold hands. So when you feel that resistance, instead of being like, you know what, screw it, no, I'm going to do it. That energy, no more of that. When you feel that resistance, the aspect of you that doesn't need help because it's in a space of inspiration gets to come back and say, you know what, I realize that the same thing is happening. We're scared right now. And that's okay. And then you basically talk to it until you feel like it's willing to do that step with you. And then do it.
I like the idea of cradling it.
Yeah.
It wants to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
That it's allowed to be there.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay, that was fast.
Yay.